Good day, guys. Welcome back for um, another video. So today I want to show you how to configure, you know, these wireless, uh, a WLAN. We have two laptops here, okay? The corporate one and the guest one. And we do have our server using Radius. Um, and also it has DNS and stuff like that. And like we always do, I hope you guys got a good cup of coffee. I had mine, just finished it now. It's currently 4 a.m. in the morning, and I just wanted to do some extra practice, since that's the way, things should be. And yeah, let's get it. I'm gonna click on the multi-layer switch here, and we're going to create a VLAN, okay? We're going to create a VLAN for the management, um, for the management AP, something that's gonna manage our APs and stuff like that. Because we're actually gonna create other VLANs as well for the corporate one and the guest, but we're starting with management VLANs, okay? So in the previous video, if you remember, I showed you how to create VLANs. The command is VLAN, and then you give it a number. In our scenario, it's VLAN 10. We press enter, and then the name would be management. Okay. Now, what we need to do is we need to create a VLAN interface on the multi-switch layer, to be used as the default gateway for the management VLAN, and we're also gonna give it an IP address. So we're gonna say interface VLAN 10, and then we'll say the IP address would be 192.168 dot let's say 10.1, and then we'll give it a slash 24. Okay, now that's added, and what we want to do is, since we added this, we want to go on our DNS server, okay, on our Redis DNS server here, and I'll walk you guys through. Okay, we're gonna go through the service tab, okay, and then we come here in DNS, and then on DNS, what we'll do is we'll try and give it a name. Okay, we'll say Cisco, sorry, Cisco, and then we'll say CapWeb controller. Okay, and then sorry, oh sorry, look at what I did. You have to write this under the name. Sorry. And here on the address, we'll give it uh we'll give it an address of 192.168.10.11. Okay, and make sure that you keep it on a record, and that the DNS service it's on, and then we'll add it. Okay, now that it's added, we need to go, sorry, on the on the laptop. um we have to go to the laptop. Let's try and go maybe on, mm, which laptop should I go into? Okay, let me try and go to the admin laptop. Okay, so we could do it from here, and I'll say command prompt. I just want to check, uh let me, if the thing worked. Cisco cap web controller. We have to see the name, and it has to give us the the server and the address. Let me see. Okay, so we have the server and the address, and the name is Cisco Cap Web. Okay, so that's done. So it is um working properly. Um, I just wanted to see if it was, if the DNS server was configured correctly. So now what we'll do is we'll come back to our switch, and we need to create another VLAN for the corporate one. Okay, we'll just we'll give this number 22, and then we'll give it the name of corporate. Okay, and then we need to do the same thing, put on our interface, and then we'll say VLAN 22. And then with this, we'll give it an IP address, okay, of 192.168 that that 22 that one, and we'll still give it a slash 24. Okay. Oh, I almost made a mistake here. Oh my gosh. It's 192 that 168 that 22 that one. Okay. This is gonna be for the corporate, and maybe for the guest, we could give them instead of 22, we could give them a 23. Okay. But we'll see. Okay. And now that that's created, we have to create for the guest as well. So we'll say VLAN 23 maybe, and we'll give it name guest. Okay. And then we have to do the same thing as well. Interface VLAN 23. We'll say IP address of 192.168.23. Sorry, that one. And then we give it a slash 24 as well. Okay. Now that we've done this, we can try and you know that our VLANs are created the way we wanted them. So we can just say show VLAN brief, and we should have management, and okay, we have them. We have management, server, admin, corporate, and guest. Okay, we have them. And let me just try and see if I can say show IP interface brief. Mm, supposed to, okay. They are here. Okay. VLAN 1 is unassigned, of course, and then there's VLAN 10, 11, 21, 22, and 23. Okay. Because here, if you remember, we have the management, which is VLAN 10, and then the server, which is VLAN 11, admin, VLAN 21, the corporate 22, and the guest is VLAN 23, and we see them here. Okay. That's a good sign. It means that we are good to go. Now, we we have to um try and come to um still on our multi-layer switch, and we have to try and and configure the port to support the corporate and the guest wireless LAN, and the management, and the management of the wireless access point and stuff like that. So we need to try and configure the switch ports, okay? I mean, so that the links can support um what's this, switch port trunks and everything. So on our switch, So on our switch here, we're going to say conft and we'll say on gigabit 1/0/5, we need to try and configure this as trunk, okay? So we'll say interface gigabit 1/0/5. Okay. Um, Let me quickly look at something here. Okay. So it's 1/0/. Okay. So I'll say switch port trunk and cap. Did I switch port trunk encapsulation. I don't know if I made a mistake. 1Q. Okay, it's not detected. Okay. Mm, Wait, did I make a mistake? Switch port. Okay, let me just see if I just say uh mode trunk. Okay. So I didn't have to put the trunk and cap. Okay. Yeah, I see we didn't have to put this. Okay. And then just to make sure that um well before that, let me allow we need to allow the villains that we created, okay? So go through this so that it's 10, it's villain 10. Okay, so it's villain 10, which is the management villain, and then villain 22 for the corporate, and villain 23 for the guest, right? So we'll say 22 and villain 23. And just to avoid any um you know broadcast storm to be created and stuff like that, so we're just gonna enable port fast, for spanning tree protocol, STP. I think it's 802.1d, which is STP protocol, spanning tree protocol. It prevents um you know things like broadcast storm to be created in, to start actually essentially within our network. And yeah, it's saying the interface when podfast is enabled can cause temporary bridging loops. Use with caution. Okay, so that is done. And now um we need to try and see on our port, on our gigabit 1/0/3 and 4. Mm, okay, that connected to this. And we need to configure the port to support corporate and wireless LANs and stuff like that. So, okay, so on the switch, what I'm gonna do now is let me say interface range gigabit 1/0/3 to 4. Okay, so these are the you know this link here and this link here, right? So what we want to do is we want to activate switch port access, all right? And then we'll say switch port access VLAN 10. VLAN 10, which is the management, um, VLAN. It's gonna manage our VLAN, and I still want to enable port fast here as well, just for security purposes and stuff like that. So right now we're gonna go to on our admin laptop, okay? Let me see. On our admin laptop, and we'll come back to the command line, okay? So we just wanna see if there's connectivity, okay? 196, that that 10, that 11. There should be connectivity. The first ping might, the first two ping, maybe or three pings might fail because these are ARP packets. It's essentially the ARP packets and stuff like that. Trying to find out where this. Okay, okay, it went through. Okay, so now we have to try and we're gonna get to the web browser. Okay, we're gonna get on the web browser and it's gonna take a little bit of time. We need to come here and let me see. Did I save any? Mm, okay, so the URL will be https slash cisco capwap dash controller, and it should be okay. So we're here. Okay, I'm gonna say I will actually put the information on the description below. Okay, you guys are gonna find this in the description below. This is a good practice, very good practice to do and everything. So right now we are about to start configuring our like our different VLANs. Okay, literally. Let me just maybe put it a bit big so it's visible, so it's more visible. Okay, so where we need to go first is we need to come to wireless, and it takes a little while. And so we have these two wireless. I can see we have AP1 and AP2 that are there, and I think these might be the defaults, probably because 0001 and the IP address is 0. Okay. So the first thing that we want to do is we actually want to add Radius, our AAA server, you know, to the wireless controller. So what we'll do is we'll come to security, and then in security, we'll try and see authentication. Oh, okay. Let me see. Okay. Need to come to new. You have to click to new, okay? And then after the new, what we need to do is we need to add the IP address, which is 192.168.11.10, okay? And then you can put a shared secret. For my example, for my shared secret, I'm gonna say Flackbox 1, okay? Box 1. And then I'm gonna say apply. Attribute, shared secret attribute is mandatory. Please specify it. Confirm. Attribute is mandatory. Oh, okay. Oh my word, doesn't match. Okay, hold on. Flackbox 1, and then Flackbox 1. Okay, and then if I click Wait, did I make a mistake again? No ways. Hold on. So, Flackbox 1. Guys, Flackbox 1. Am I entering shared secret? Attribute is mandatory. Please specify it. Confirm shared secret. Attribute is mandatory. Please specify it. Make the necessary corrections and try again. Shared secret doesn't match. Try again. Hmm. Did I make a mistake? Okay, let me do this. 192, that 168, that 11, that 10. And then let me type it slowly. Flack box 1. And then box 1. What error am I making? Okay, okay. So it was just a password that I think I was typing the password wrong. I think I was typing the password wrong and stuff, so that's why it was giving me an error. So we have our, you know, server and management VLAN added right here. And so right now, what we actually want to do is we want to, get the DHCP on the wireless controller, you know. So we have to get the DHCP client. Yeah, we have to make sure that our wireless DHCP client can receive the IP address from an external DHCP server or from the wireless LAN controller and stuff like that. So what we want to do is we want to go to controller, and then we'll come. It's so small, but what we need to see is okay. We have to come to, and we come to DHCP scope. We need to go to new right here. Okay, so on the new, we need to try and add our scope. Okay, so the scope that we're literally going to add will be like the range would be around maybe 100 to 254. Should I name the scope? I'll call it corporate. Corporate. Let me see. Okay. Can I say apply? And then once we do that, now we have the corporate one, okay? And then we can just come to the corporate and try and add a scope in here. Okay, the poll starts. We're gonna give it 192.168.22.101, and then it's gonna end 68.22.254. And then our network, of course, it's 192.168.22.0. That's the network that we're in. And the subnet mask, it's the /24. And okay, the default, the router, Remember the router, it's always the first um device in a network. So it's gonna be one, and we shouldn't forget our DNS server, which is 192.168.11.10. Okay, that's our DNS server. I wrote them in a paper, and I have it. Okay, so now we also have to do the same thing as well for our we created our corporate one. So right now we need to create for our guest. Okay, we have to create a DHCP pool for our guest as well, which will be basically essentially the same thing. We have to get the guest, okay, and then we need to create a pool. The pool starts at 198.160.23.101, and this one will be 192.168.23.254. And then here we'll say 198.160 23.0, and then our subnet mask will be /24. Okay, and our default router 192.168.23.1, and we still give it the same DNS server. Okay, 11.10. So I I don't know if you know why we're giving it 254, because in a /24 you have 254 available or usable IP addresses. You get 256 addresses, but the first one and the last one are for the network and the broadcast address. Okay, and those are non-negotiable, that that we need to always have. So when you remove the network address and the broadcast address, out of the 256, we have 254 available or usable IP addresses. Okay, so even in like in for example, a slash let's say 28, for example. In a /28, you have how many available? You have 16 um IP addresses, right? And then in the 16, you know, IP addresses, you need to still remove, you need to do 16 minus 2, which will be 14 available or usable IP addresses. Every time when you have a /20, 24 or a /8, so 16, 18, you name it, you always need to do -2 for the available IP addresses in that range, okay? Okay, so we want to add those, okay? And we need to make sure that we see our we need to make sure that we see it's correct. Okay. Okay, so now we need to check the management interface to see if it's pre-configured to use untagged. Okay, let me try and see. Okay, let me go to the controller, and then mm, come to interface. Okay, because now we want to see, the management interface, if it's like, if it's pre-configured to be untagged, you know. So we want to come to the management. Okay, it's untagged. Okay, so let's try and come back um to ours to let's check our multi-level switch here, and say, let me see. Oh, we're gonna say show run. Sorry, let me clear this quickly. Okay, so we need to see um okay. um on gigabit. It has to be on gigabit. Okay, it has to be on the gigabit one. No. It's gigabit one. Okay. VLAN 10. Okay. Trunk. And it's port fast. Okay, I see. Sorry, let me. Oh my gosh, it's going to be sending a lot of, things. I'm sorry about that. Sorry about that. Okay, so back here, we need to come to um port because right now we need to try and like create a logical interface on WLAN controller, in the corporate VLAN. Ah, and these keep on coming. Oh my word. Um, yeah, so you know, and on the corporate VLAN and stuff with the same IP that we configured um that we used to configure it with, right? I think it was the IP. I don't remember. I think the corporate one was a .22, I think. Yeah, it was a .22. So what we want to do is we want to check. Let me check if uh okay, the link is up. Oh my gosh. Okay, let me quickly remove these. Okay, the link is up. Okay, so which means this is good. So what we want to do is I want to click on new. Uh, okay, let me see. Mm, on port one, it's not supported in packet tracer. Oh, okay, it's not supported. Let me see. Hold on. Okay, I'm gonna come to. Mm, let me say interface, and then I'm gonna say new, and then in here I need to interface name. So I'm gonna call this corporate. The ID will be uh 22, and I'm gonna say apply. I'm gonna say apply. If you could just try and follow along. And we have these again popping up. Okay, so sorry. Mm, I have so many of these notifications at this time. It's always the same thing. Please forgive me, guys. So I'm gonna say this was on port one, okay, and we need to give the IP address, which is 192.168.22, that 11, and then the subnet mask is /24, and then the gateway will always be the first device. And then primary DHCP server, which was 10 and 11, okay? Access, okay, now we don't have those. So we can click on, if you can, these are the configurations because it's on port 1. And then the VLAN identifier is 22. I just used it from here. And the subnet mask, uh, 0. And the gateway, it's 192.168.22.1. And we have our primary DHCP server, which is 192.168.10.11. Okay. Once we're done, we come and click on apply. Changing interface causes the wireless, the VLAN, WLANs to be temporarily disabled and thus may result in loss of connectivity. Okay, we don't have any clients connected for now, so we're good. Um, so now what I want to do is I want to create also a what's this? Another logical interface for the for the guest as well in the VLANs, with the same IP address that we gave them, the that 23. I think if corporate was that 22, then the other ones were that 20. They were 23. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm gonna say controller. Let me see if that was interface. Let me see. Okay, we have our corporate one day here. 22.11. Okay, so we just need to add dynamic untagged. Okay. Okay, yeah, it's untagged. The management is untagged. Okay, so we need to add the guest and we'll give them that 23. Okay, you should not forget about this. And now it's here where we'll do some configurations, right? So the port number as well will be on port 1 and um, 23. Okay, so we need to give it the IP address of 192.168.23.11. Okay, the subnet mask will be a /24. The gateway will be 192.168.23.1, and our DHCP is 192.168.10.11. Okay, and when you're done with all this, you should do the same thing as well and click to apply. Okay. Okay. Now if we check our interfaces, it should be there. Both of them. Okay, they are there. And now what we want to do is we want to create a the wireless LAN. I mean, we want to create the wireless LAN named for the corporate one, and we need to see the radius configurations for like authentications, using the triple A and stuff like that. So how we can do that is we're gonna go to WLANs and okay, I'm gonna click on create. I'm gonna say create new and then I'm gonna say go. Okay, so now that we're here, I'm going to say corporate and the SSID will be corporate as well. And then I'm gonna say apply. Okay. Okay. Now that we're here, we need to try and like associate this with the corporate interface, okay? Okay, so we're on general. Um, say corporate. Um, okay. Okay, it's here. Okay, now I can say apply. Okay. And then now I need to try and come to security because we want to now set the securities, for like which security will it use, WPA or WPA2 or AO2.1x and stuff like that. So I'm gonna pick WPA2. Okay, so um I want to set it to WPA2. It's gonna use AES encryption, and I'm gonna say it AO2.1x, which is the our triple A authentication um system. And then let me see with this. Okay, once we have enabled this, let me try and say apply. You have to come and try and apply these settings. Okay. Then if I come back to security and come back to um AAA, I have to. Okay, this is our server. This is our DHCP server and stuff. So we're going to click this, and um I think this should be good. Let me quickly see. Mm, okay, so we should this that should be okay. Okay, it's here. Then we come back. Okay, come back up and we say apply. Okay, that should be it. And then on the general tab, we need to try and enable our status for the corporate one. Okay, and then that's it. We need to click on apply as well. It might take a little while. Changing parameters while it is enabled. Is it enabled? Locals. Oh, okay, okay. It took effect. So we need to do the same thing as well. We need to do the same thing as well our um for our guest WLAN, and we'll do the exact same thing. Okay, we'll do the exact same thing. We'll go down to create the our guest uh you know stuff, and I remember I didn't put any um what's this, I never used any capital letter. Okay, so if you did put any capital letter, it has to be, like it has to match. But the SSID doesn't really matter. You can, I can put a capital letter. I can write it like this. It doesn't matter. But for the profile name, I want the profile name to match what I created on the switch to a T. So I'm keeping it like that. And just for safe use, I'm going to keep this as well like this. And then I'm going to say apply. Okay. Okay. Now we need to come to general, and all we just want to do is we want to change this first to guest. That's it. Okay. That's it for now, at least. because we're not done with like all the settings that we need to run. But this won't be, this won't have so much um this won't have so much configuration because we're going to use a preset key, we're gonna enable preset key here. Layer 2 security. um I don't think I'm gonna use any. Okay, I'm gonna use any. mm, okay, which one should I use for? Let me quickly see if I use W. I can use because I want to use um okay, let me just enable WPA2, and I'm gonna say enable preset key. Okay, and the preset key that I want to enable is Flackbox 3. I have to make sure that I write it correctly so I don't run into any problems. 3. Okay, that's configured. Okay, and I'm gonna say apply. Okay, okay, now I can say enable, and then I can say apply because we just enabled um our security for the guest uh department as well. I think it took effect, right? Okay, yeah, I think it did take effect. Okay, if we come back, I'm supposed to see both. Okay, we have our guest and everything. Let me try and save. So from here we have to save what we did. So I'm gonna say save as fundamentals, but I'm gonna say done all. I'm gonna say done all, so I know which one I need to run again. And then I have to close this. Okay, so now what you have to do is you have to close this after saving. You have to close and reopen the new one, the one that you just saved. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that. I'm gonna pause the video, go ahead and do that, and then I'm gonna come back. Okay, 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 guys. So we're back. What we're going to do, we've opened it. We've reopened the new um packet tracer. With the settings that we've configured. Um, and now what we're going to do is we're going to try and connect our machine. And the way we do it on this demo, the username is Flackbox, okay? And then the password was set to Flackbox2. So what we're going to do is we're going to check on you have to go to wireless 0, okay? You have to go to wireless 0, and then on the SSID you need to change this to corporate, okay? And then you need to use WPA2 because that's what we configured, if you remember. And then the username, I said it's Flackbox, and the password is Flackbox2, okay? And we need to change these settings here, okay, to okay. I have to change this to automatic, and it has to change to a valid DHCP. So it has to change to a valid, DHCP address, because this is still a API. This is still a private IP address, so I won't be able to do much with this. If you know, this is the API address. So, but while we wait, I'm gonna go ahead and go. Let me try to come on desktop, and I'm gonna say IP configuration. I have to see I have to see it turning. Okay, it failed. It's being used. Huh. Okay, let me try and see again. Maybe I made a mistake somewhere. Mm, corporate, that's the SSID. Flackbox, and it's assigning me a um an API APA address. I don't understand why. Did I make a mistake? Corporate. Um, Let me say static, and then I'm gonna say thing again. Corporate. Okay. Okay, it's still not assigning me anything. Let me try and come here. I'm gonna see. Okay, it's failing. Let me quickly try and see what's the problem. If I've made maybe some mistakes, and I'll come back just now, okay? So I'm still not able to, okay. I'm still not able to get my corporate one to connect to the wireless, AP for some reason, because it's not getting any IP addresses. It's not being assigned any IP address from the DHCP, but I need to try and figure, because for the for the guest, um let me quickly show you. We do have connectivity right here, okay? We are able to get connectivity, but for some reason it's failing on the corporate one, and I am trying to understand what's going on, why I'm not getting any. um I think maybe it's the C. I think that C was capital, and I see corporate, and I see it's still failing. Okay, let me do that. And let me get out of here and enter here. Mm, okay, let me try and change this quickly. Okay, I need it to take effect. Flackbox, okay, corporate, and it's still assigning me an AP IPA, and because of that, I can't connect. Let me try and see if, yeah, it's still failing. It's still assigning me an AP IP address. Let me try and see if NS lookup, it was Cisco Cap Web controller, because the guest is getting, is able to connect We didn't configure much on the guest, so um, there was literally just one um, thing that we configured, which was the preset key. Okay, I see. Okay, so let me see on the admin laptop. Okay, on the admin laptop, we do have, I must have missed something. I'm not too sure. Oh, I made a mistake somewhere. I must have made a mistake somewhere. Um, for the corporate on wireless SSID. Flackbox. And we configured it to have. Please give me some more time. Let me try and troubleshoot this. Hi guys, I just found the mistake that I've made is I created the SSID. It wasn't it wasn't corporate. I called it corp raw rate. That's why I wasn't able to um, get on the get on the connect to the wireless on my wireless access point. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna change to exactly what I wrote here. It's COP raw rate. Yeah, it's right here. And if I say DHCP, and now if I try and come here, it should be uh, okay. Now it's successful. And if we do check, we have connectivity. Okay, so this was how you could, configure, um, your wireless controller, your wireless local area networks, to create an SSID, and then you create the security um, and everything else. I will drop the details that was pre-configured on the DHCP server, on the DNS server as well. So you could be able to access and try and run commands along with me. Right now, we do have connectivity, so I think on my on my guest, if I tried to ping 192.168, that was it 10? I think it was 11.10, if I'm not mistaken, or if it was the inverse. Okay, okay, we do have connectivity, and if we do the same here as well, I think it's gonna work. Um, ping. Um, Actually, let me try and ping the Cisco Cap Web controller. Is it going to ping? Okay, it's replying. Okay, so even if I did a NS lookup for the controller, now it's showing me the address. Okay, it's showing me the address, whereas here it was timing out. Okay, but now it's actually showing me the address. It's now connected. It's connected to the internet, so I can try and ping um our DNS server, which was 10.11, if I'm mistaken. Okay, yeah, it's 10.11. So we have connectivity. So thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I guess I'll see you guys next time if I make another study session where I get to practice these Cisco configurations and studies for the CCNA. Thank you guys so much. By now, I'm sure your coffee is finished. You done drinking it, and our video is done as well. Thank you very much, guys.